I take this opportunity to thank all of you for coming and to welcome you to Delhi and to India. We very much look forward to receiving your advice and based on that to form the Child Rights Declaration for the second high-level committee meeting.
Our Executive Director of UNICEF, Mr. Anthony Lake, he was very adamant that we should avoid that there are two realities in Asia and the Pacific. One reality for the happy few, and another one where really basic services are not met. So what we want, of course, to achieve with this conference, that we are very clear on the next steps. So what is it that we can do to have one reality? And that one reality is about children surviving, thriving, and living up to their potential. 33 governments will be talking about their programs and their strengths, their weaknesses, and their desire to learn from each other. So that something that has worked very well in one country can actually serve as an example or an inspiration, hopefully, for another country. So that through this conference we accelerate progress for children. And that is not just words. We would like to see that in action.
Our host country deserves our thanks not only for bringing us together, but for its commitment to its own and the world's children. A commitment is demonstrated by hosting this meeting, by the progress of India's children, and by India's leadership in the Promise Renewed movement to dramatically reduce under 5 mortality and maternal deaths. And we also need to recognize India's striking economic leadership in recent decades in this region and beyond. But as we rightly celebrate economic gains and the progress being enjoyed by millions of people across Asia and the Pacific, I know that everyone here in this room and every government that you represent is not losing sight of the gaps in the progress that still exists. The second reality that you are working on is one characterized by about 3 million children under 5 who die every year across the region, largely from causes that we know how to prevent. A lack of vaccinations and other health care, vitamins or adequate nutrition, clean water, proper sanitation. The futures of the children who do survive their 5th birthdays can be severely limited by the lack of access to education. Far too often, children with disabilities, those in indigenous populations, and especially girls in many countries are excluded from school, counted out before they have a chance to count. Those living in disaster-prone areas are at special risk. Earthquakes and tsunamis and cyclones and other natural disasters have a way of preying on society's inequities, as the hardest hit areas are too often the areas in which the most vulnerable and marginalized live.
I think my first impressions here in Delhi are really that we have over 30 countries that are incredibly committed to child rights. And not just to the principles of child rights, which is essential, but to action. And so we've already heard in the speeches about the actions that are taking place, that have taken place since 2010, when we had the first meeting for child rights and South-South cooperation. That's exciting.
It is not only preparing the future for the children, but preparing the children for the future. I think this makes sense. And I truly believe that this is how it should be.
UNICEF is working better in Bangladesh for the child development, especially for the slum areas, and as well as they are giving the stipend to the working child, so those who are in the risky jobs. So that is a good initiative. They are giving a stipend to them.
When you get to know people at a one-to-one basis, I understand there is an opportunity for a dialogue from then onwards. So to take further some of the ideas that I'm beginning to see through the country presentations, which I'm very keenly listening into, I hope I'll be able to have some best practices that I could then take for the context of the Maldives and continue this conversation through either perhaps UNICEF, etc., as a medium, and continue to have conversations with countries that we may be able to learn from.
From the presentation, the mention about adolescence is the crucial transition from childhood to adolescence. That's why many challenges they face and problem the issue that they face. Therefore, we are here to support them, to have a commitment. With UNICEF support, we can do something for the young people, for the better life in the future.
If the children are healthy, educated, they will be the future and they will be the property of the nations, and they can handle the nation in the right way. That's why it is very necessary to have the third high level meeting.
I think that this is a proper time and we need to focus this area, that we need to focus on early childhood development, particularly child abuse and something like that. And I really appreciate 30 members from delegates from 30 countries, around 150 delegates are here to attend this meeting, and this is something I would like to know.
This is the big important issue, so we can share our idea with this big forum, South-South forum, and we can use our SARC forum also for this issue, especially its child rights, adolescence, early childhood development, girl trafficking, like this. Many issues are regarding this. We can use this forum as we have participated the first dialogue in Beijing and this second conference here, and we can join again such events, and we can develop future strategy, and we can implement in our own way and in our own circumstances.
We are now in the process of preparation of the National Action Plan to prevent and eliminate violence against children. And of course, there is a lot to learn from the experience of countries. And following this meeting, we will continue on early childhood development as well.
Listen to each country about the experiences, the challenge they face, and the commitment. I believe we are all here together because we are committed to the child's rights. So that's all of us represented. So that's true. I truly believe that. And also, today I present our government is seriously, committed to the child's right, and is offering to host the next third high-level meeting in Timor-Leste. That's coming from our Prime Minister, Mr. Kairala Shanan Guzman.
Progress in the implementation of the Beijing Declaration on South-South Cooperation for Child Rights.
Beijing Declaration in a number of areas
of the South-South Cooperation practices for the advancement of children's rights in Samoa. First, sector-wide approach in addressing child rights of migration by young people to urban areas. Unemployment amongst the country's youth population currently sits at almost 60%.
I think you should continue till the problems of children are resolved, and it's a big world and the population growth rate is very high. We have to control the population, we have to control and see that things are under control, and we have to build up the institutions. We have to build up systems where we are under control and we feel that things are going towards a progressive road. I feel it's still going to take us quite a long time till we will say we don't need any more engagements and interactions with other countries. I feel the need is still very much there because we have not reached our goals as yet.